snowflake in a harassing way and insinuate that it was Jenna's community that's mass reporting you. Your proof is
Get ready. This is the biggest glaring lie that Tectone will make in today's stream.
a chat GPT answer. Ain't you able to see the reason why you're banned? Okay. Let me go ahead and weigh in. I reached out to Twitch staff.
I reached out to Twitch staff. Okay, go ahead. Dig your grave, Tectone.
And I want to make this very clear. I reached out to Twitch staff because I wanted to know why St. Tontos got banned.
Because I wanted to know why St. Tontos got banned. Tectone is Tectone. St. Tontos is St. Tontos. Remember that. They're two different people, two different content creators, two different accounts. Okay? Go ahead. Go ahead, Tectone.
I will let you know. St. Tontos' ban was completely due to mass reports.
Okay? He'll let you know that St. Tontos, and he has definitive proof of this, obviously with the assumption that Twitch staff told him that that's what it was for.
That is very true.
That is very true, he says, doubling down on that.
That is a thing that happened.
That is a thing that happened. Just barely is the most important thing. Now, it is possible that ChatGPT is going to be wrong in this particular case, but let's just assume it isn't. Are you allowed to talk to Twitch staff about another creator's ban to see why they were banned? No. Twitch staff do not disclose the reasons behind another creator's ban to anyone other than the account owner. This policy is in place to protect our user privacy and maintain the integrity of Twitch enforcement processes. Only the banned creator can appeal their suspension or receive details about the enforcement. Attempts by others to inquire about or appeal on another suspension are not considered and may be disregarded. In enforcement policies, you can visit their official community guidelines. So, if Tectone received information from Twitch's staff that is against their policy, and therefore that staff could be fired or have some kind of action taken against them, disciplinary. That's one possibility. Here's the other possibility, and why I wanted to point all the other things that Tectone said. Tectone basically is trying to defend genocide. St. Tontos had a very serious altercation with genocide and implied a lot during that stream before he got banned. Okay? Tectone has already admitted that he likes this drama between the content creators. He enjoys this. It is my belief that Tectone orchestrated St. Tonto's ban, potentially. So, one of two options happened here. Either a Twitch staff broke policy and told Tectone why St. Tontos was banned, or Tectone knows why St. Tontos was banned because he orchestrated it by doing a mass banning, or by him actually just talking to somebody and getting St. Tontos banned just by having the power that he has on Twitch. Or he's lying in general about everything. And this could also be the possibility. He might have told Genocide to mass report, and maybe they're using a bot in software or something like that. So maybe it's indirectly or whatever the case may be. But it is orchestrated to some degree, either by Genocide or by Tectone. And I would conclude that it's most likely Tectone that had some hand in this. Because he'll say very shortly that Genocide is going to move in with him, which is something he tried to get Mr. Pokey to do, something he tried to get Box to do, something he's tried to get all these other content creators to do. He wants that clout. He wants people that are successful, because right now he doesn't have anybody that's successful in his house. And he wants collaborations.
You got to understand, it makes me very emotional because I think that I'm actually making a real friend. And I'm
Oh,
very excited for him to move in with me. I'm
there we
very
go.
excited.
Here we
And
go.
I
Here we go.
obviously am very nervous about making new friends because I've been fucked over so hard by so many in the past. But I think Genocide is a very good guy. He's moving in? Yes, he is. He is going to move in with me. Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm very excited. I think he's a very good dude.
And that's why you banned Santontos. Because Santontos is a hard head. No, no, correction. A very hard head who would not listen. And you warned him because you are Twitch Tectone. Because you either set up your botters or your specific vote got him banned because potentially he is not a partner and you are, and you have a lot of notoriety within Twitch, and so your vote matters more and can basically be like 1,000 people. And then you make whatever story up. You maybe even confide in him and tell him that he needs to do this as well. He needs to learn from his mistakes, and that's why he has a 7-day ban. And then he'll go on YouTube, he'll get more support, and then this whole thing will still perpetrate, and you'll still be successful. He'll still be successful. Genocide wins. Mr. Pokey loses because you're going to blame it on him potentially, even though you're not going to say you do. Is bullshit. You're bullshit. That's the end of the video. My name is Bazookas. Blah, 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 blah. Hello, YouTube. My name is Plazookas, and there are very few times now that I react to Tectone, either the previous day's streams or in this case, the today's stream. But the exception is going to be made because Tectone has either blatantly lied or Twitch staff has broken some form of terms of service that they are not specifically allowed to do, in which I guess allows me to speculate, and I will get to that point when it actually arises. Without further ado, let's watch Tectone stream today about this Santontos, Pokey, blah, 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 drama in the gotcha content creation space. Now, that's not why we're watching this specifically. It is to show and to highlight the lies, the myth truths, or the abuse of power that's happening in Tectone's community streams, blah, blah, blah.
Without melatonin today. Went to bed without melatonin today. But
He was up really early this morning. I've been up really early. I've been up for 12, 13 hours already. I'm making this video right now. And he posted shortly after I posted, 30 seconds. Watch that video that's just below this one.
it went very well. I slept for 5 hours, woke up for an hour and a half, then slept for 2 hours. So I got a pretty good night's sleep. Didn't use melatonin, which I feel great about because it was giving me a little bit of brain fog, kind of reducing a little bit of cognitive function. But we're getting there, trying to become, a little bit less reliant on sleep medication. And I think we'll get there. Oblivion is coming later today. Do not worry.
Why didn't it come yesterday? Okay.
Do not worry. Oblivion is coming later today. You don't need to worry at all.
I'm not worried.
Anything been going on? Anything been going on? How's it going? What's good?
Keggy dink dong keggy dink dong keggy eo.
Boom, boom, ba-dum. St. John's got banned?
Santonos got banned.
I know.
He knows. He knows. How does he know? Is the question everyone needs to ask. How does he know?
I would like to say,
What would you like to say?
and this is important, I kind of want to be the fact checker.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I'm trying to be pretty fair on all this. And I think people are probably starting to get, at this point, how much I was doing behind the scenes.
Yeah. Like everything behind the scenes. Not sleeping at all. Doing things behind the scenes, kind of behind the scenes.
Because for 4 months, we had peace. For 4 months, everybody got along. For 4 months, everything was great. And to be honest, the gotcha space was the best it's ever been.
That is absolutely not true. Pokey, Santontos, Gotcha Smack, they were all battling each other. They were all creating drama from each other. It just didn't have a blow up. That's the only difference. But there was still plenty of controversy, still plenty of drama within this gotcha space.
And, well, I, kind of came out. Unfortunately, I didn't really want to talk about it. How much I was having to go to other creators and talk to them about how they feel. And talk to them about, well, maybe we shouldn't do that. And talk about, well, do you really have to feel that type of way? Let's talk about it. And maybe we don't post that video. Maybe
Suppression. Controlling the entire ecosystem of the gotcha content creation space. Mitigating, delegating, everything.
we don't go after that guy because, well, this guy's misunderstood, or, well, this guy just got back from war, and, well, he's up and coming, and, you know, maybe he slipped up every now and then. And sometimes the ego gets to all of us. And I think now a lot of people have said, I don't need you to do this. I never asked you to do this. It doesn't matter that you did this. I never asked for that. Well, some people aren't handling this too well, huh? Some people aren't handling this too well right now. And, well, what can I say other than, guys, I tried. I would say this is probably the second messiest it's ever, third messiest. This is probably the third messiest it's ever gotten. Now, full disclosure, I'm enjoying the fuck out of this. I'm just gonna be real. I'm just gonna be real, man. Like, I think it's hilarious. Like, straight up. Like, straight up. Like, listen, whether you like Saint Tontas or whether you hate Saint Tontas, one thing you can't deny is that bro's hatred runs through him. And I find it entertaining as fuck to watch. And whether you like Mr. Pokey or whether you hate Mr. Pokey, his sheer unawareness causes so much shit. It's honestly comical at this point. Now, I will say this. I don't got any idea why anybody going after genocide. I don't get that.
Okay. This is a very important part of the video. I don't know why anybody is going after genocide. See, when I made the video yesterday, I talked about how Tectone profiled Saint Tontos because of a Mr. Pokey video he did. Mr. Pokey has been covering predominantly Hoyoverse content for a while now. Even Genshin Impact for a while now, which obviously Tectone does not like. So he pit Santontos against Mr. Pokey, thinking Santontos would have enough to deal with Mr. Pokey to not ever branch out or talk about anybody else. What he did not expect, although this is just sheer ignorance and stupidity on Tectone's part, is that Santontos is a big dummy. I mean, I could tell just by a very limited amount of videos that I've watched from Santontos. This guy lacks a number of brain cells, and he will talk about anybody and everybody. He doesn't have any regard for tact or for diplomacy. So if you are literally trying to direct a stray dog and then expect him to be a protector of your house, good luck, because they're more than likely apt to turn on you as well, or whoever else. You know, you're like, oh, that's my friend. Too fucking bad. Okay? Leg gets bit off. Okay? Neck gets, bit. And then carotid artery and bleed everywhere and die. You can't predict people like Santontos. So when you bring him into the circle, like Tectone did, you messed up. So he's not happy about Santontos going after genocide. So just keep that in your mind because it's going to be very important here in the near future.
However, I will say, I did talk to Genocide last night. I did. And I would like to say, it was a pretty good informative talk. And I will say, to you guys who are aggressively...
This is very important. Careful now. Here's another part of this thing that you need to listen very carefully.
Holding Genocide up to this holier-than-thou attitude, who spam W Genocide in everybody's chat, even when he's not even mentioned. I just want to let you know, I think it's weird as fuck, and even he thinks it's weird as fuck. So I'm just letting y'all know that, like, we gotta, like, it's cool when he does something good, but the whole bringing into other people's chats, treating him like a god.
The fact that chat would do that, irregardless of any kind of preparation or organization, indicates a lot about what chat is going to be willing to do in the future or has done in the past. That is something I've spoke about continuously regarding Tectone's community chat. And this is just another example of, okay, it was Mr. Pokey yesterday and it's Zenazad today and it's come Dripper tomorrow.
It's not making anybody feel too good. It's kind of weird, to be honest. Like, it gets really weird. I mean, I remember the other day where I was merely talking about Genocide maybe taking, like, a passive-aggressive joke or maybe having an ego, and there was people in my chat going, my Genocide would never do that. And, yeah, it was just a little bit odd. And content creators aren't going to feel good being held up to that ridiculous degree of this creator's perfect.
Right. Again, this is another tactic being used by Tectone to mitigate other people's potential so that they do not ascend to what Tectone has become in this community, essentially. That's part of it, but that's not the only thing that's trying to be tackled here. He's trying not to piss other people off because he really doesn't want Genocide to be the target because he has plans for Genocide in the future, which we'll get to in a second.
Because everybody has their flaws, right? But, yeah, things have gotten messy, and I'm just going to be completely real. There's a lot of feelings that I have. I don't think this is going to be something that's going to be resolved overnight. And to be honest, for one party, I don't really think it's ever going to be resolved, to be completely honest. And here's the other thing that everybody needs to notice. A lot of people like to say pattern recognition. It's the truth. But I want to let everybody know this now.
You see the chat say win more?
Mr. Pokey has now had issues with over 8 content creators. Saint Tontas has now had issues with 10 content creators, maybe less. No, what am I going to say?
And what happened to Atsu? What happened to all the other content creators that I don't even know about that were before Atsu and them having issues with other content creators? What was the common denominator? Tectone.
like 4 content creators. But what you guys got to understand is just because a content creator has a quote unquote history of getting into issues with multiple CCs, it's not because they're bad people. I'm not going to tell you how to feel about anybody, but you guys got to understand as streamers, when you get to the top, Saint Tontas averaging nearly 2K CCV, Mr. Pokey averaging nearly 3K CCV, Genizad having one of the biggest blowups in the Gods community, averaging somewhere between 2.5K CCV. These things are going to happen when a content creator has that many people backing them, as well as so many people eyeing for that spot.
Yeah, this is true to some regard, but specifically in this community under Tectone, it's way more chaotic, way more unstable, way more toxic than most other communities that allow more people to stay at the top without this much drama. And again, it's by design.
When egos collide, wars happen. And it does. I do think, and I'm going to keep my personal feelings out of this.
No, he will not keep his personal feelings out of this. I'm sure he's made all of his personal feelings known to all the other content creators and has started to talk behind each other's back, just like it was back in Atsu's days, just like he was guilty of. The thing he accused Atsu of, most likely he did it himself as well, talking behind people's back.
I do think, just being completely real, that there are people in the right.
I think he thinks genocide is in the right. I think that is clear. The rest is kind of in question still.
And I do think that there are people in the wrong. However, I'm going to keep my personal feelings aside.
Very convenient. You bring all these people together and you start controversies, you start, to question and to, like you said, get involved in community talks behind the scenes, stirring the pot and stuff like that. And now in public, you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to have hands-off approach. Yeah. Now that there's a full-blown war, you don't want to be associated with it. But let me be very clear. By the end of this video, you are going to be found to be the kingpin of everything.
And we're going to let this play out because it needs to.
Needs to. Interesting wordage.
We're going to let
Just so you know, that's the second part you need to hear very clearly. Needs to play out.
everybody fight. We're going to let everybody yell. We're going to let everybody get everything they need to say out of their chest. And I'm hoping after that we can go back because I believe in a great gotcha space. I mean this.
How many times has he said this? How many times has he brought in these many groups that have had conflict with each other? Obviously, he's remained on the top. He's survived all of these wars. While the graves of other people, other content creators have died. Hex Shoes, Gotcha Smack don't even exist in this space anymore. He's in a different Mtashed, Atsu, and the list goes on and on and on. And there's people I don't know about. A number of them.
Genuinely. If you guys notice, I've lost maybe 2 or 3 friends.
Yes. I mean, well, they're not even your friends, so those are not even technically a number. You've lost 0 friends because you don't have any friends. And therefore, you've lost more than whatever they're considered to you. Pawns on a chessboard?
Over my 7-year content creation tenure. Now,
Like 20, 50, 70, 1,000? I don't even know how many graves you have buried. You don't even dig them up, I'm sure. You just kind of like, maybe you cremate them just to disappear evidence.
people on the
Metaphorically speaking. Okay, in the content creation space. I'm not talking about like real life shit.
internet will lie and tell you that there's many more than that, but it's simply not the truth.
Well, there is.
I've maybe lost 2 or 3 people in 7 years that I cared about. However, that's because I have an issue of giving everybody a chance, regardless whether or not I should. And I realized that perhaps I give the benefit of the doubt too much. Perhaps I get involved a little bit too much.
Third point. Perhaps I get involved a little too much. Now, you would think that this is a moment of clarity, a moment of accountability, but it's not. It's just a save face.
And I would like to say, I do think a lot of the issues that are happening today are my fault. I genuinely do. I shouldn't have coddled Mr. Pokey.
Again, demeaning Mr. Pokey by needing to be coddled.
I shouldn't have taken care of Mr. Pokey. I shouldn't have held back Santontas.
Again, making the stereotypes that are already, well, first of all, Mr. Pokey being stereotyped as a weak person that needed to be coddled or comforted, and then Santontos being this, bulldog that needed to be held back, blah, 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 blah. Okay, one, a stronger, one having a stronger, one eliciting a much more stronger image while the other one's eliciting a weaker image. It almost diminishing one and trying to increase the profile of the other.
I shouldn't have done that. And going forward, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, he will do that because historically speaking, he has done that for many other content creators as well. He brought up Santontos, and maybe he won't. Maybe he's saying he won't do that again. He will. He'll find somebody else. That's why his Gotcha Cast has new people on all the time. It's a revolving door. It's like McDonald's. I've already had that comparison.
I'm only going to give counsel to people if they come to me, and
He said that for Hex Juice, and then he said I can't give her counsel anymore. He said that for MTash, then he doesn't give him counsel anymore. He said that for Mr. Pokey, and you know where Mr. Pokey stands right now. It's all just a facade.
will admit, full disclosure, many content creators have come to me for counsel off stream, and I've done my best to give them all the best possible advice I could possibly.
If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. Don't you think it's more likely that he wants to have, and he has used this in the past, all of their baggage, all their drama. He wants to know it all. So that when he has conversations with anybody, in the back of his mind, which he's not even that smart, I'm sure he actually discloses it to some people and actually reveals some of his tactics. And because they're most likely playing him as well, they don't really care. And so it's just a game being, gamed and stuff like that. But at the same time, he's trying to orchestrate all this. He's trying to put little member berries into other people's minds, to start little conflicts here, to have a little paranoia here, and so on and so forth. This is a very common tactic used by Tectone.
To give them, however, trying to keep my personal feelings out of it as best as I possibly can.
Wrong.
But
I mean, right, you don't really have personal feelings, specifically, potentially, but either way.
Say, as much as these CCs are at each other's throat, you guys got to understand, when the gotcha space gets dry, the communities go to war. And it's more than just the content creators. It's the chat. It's the communities. And I hope you guys know, I know a lot of y'all enjoy the fuck out of this. And I know a lot of y'all fuel the fuck out of this. And to be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. But just know, you guys, before you cast judgment,
Save
just
US
know,
Tech.
just know, you all are just as guilty as everyone in the CCs.
There you go.
When you go into people's chats and you type, did you see this? Did you see that? When you type the W this streamer or the L that streamer, you are just as guilty. you all want to cast judgment at Tectone in the past. But what
This
you
is
gotta
what
realize is,
this is
over
what
these
people who uh, potentially do something bad to someone will try to rationalize and say, well, you're just as bad. You wanted it just as much. Blah, 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 blah. And that's not fair because Tectone has a power dynamic over chat. A lot of the community comprised in Twitch, YouTube, social media are very vulnerable people. A lot of them are younger kids that do not have the capacity, the experience to really think for themselves to the extent that someone that is a content creator does and can use that position to manipulate. There are other people who are depressed. There are people that are lonely. There are people that are parasocial. There are people who are in love, infatuated. Like, this dynamic is not equal. And therefore, the responsibility is on the content creator to hold the chat accountable. And if you're producing a community that, is allowed to do this or is permitted to do this or is, encouraged, that's on you. That's not them. I'm sorry. Especially when at least half of his community is probably under the age of 15.
7 years, guys, you've become me. We are all Tectone.
It's very convenient.
We are. Whether you want to admit it or not. Everybody here wants to say how I'm the most hated CC, but here's the reality. If I'm the most hated CC, why am I the most viewed? Because
Well, we've already talked about this, and I'm not saying you're not captivated because you are Thanos in the gotcha community. You are captivated in that sense, but it's because you've created a vacuum, orchestrated a lot of other things, and have benefited from lies, deception, being misleading, manipulative. And it's not just you, it's many other content creators that exhibit this very similar behavior. That's partially why. But I will give you credit where credit's due. You are definitely more entertaining than most other content creators. But it's specifically because of how toxic you are.
think people find me a lot more relatable than they might think. And regardless of all this horrible shit we've done, I think there's a common trend. I think a lot of people who watch me can understand how painful it is to get falsely accused, how horrible it is to get held accountable for something that you never did.
Okay, this is as if his whole entire community is comprised of sex offenders or I mean, what else? What else is he being accused of unfairly? Liars, manipulators?
And I think that's a relatable story to a lot of people. But I do want to say this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alpha males, yeah. Blah blah blah. White entitlement. Oh, forget about that one. Sure.
I think we've seen a lot of creators come out of the woodworks and give very good apologies. I think Maggie gave a very good apology. But remember, an apology is one step. Following through on that is the next step. I did want to apologize for
Yeah.
Tectone of 2022 through 2024.
There's no follow through either, and that's such a half-hearted apology that I don't accept it. Having literally been with you the whole entire year of 2024, you do not deserve my forgiveness.
I understand that guy's ego is out of fucking control, but I hope you guys know that I was at least aware of it, and I've been working on it every day. I think every CC in this space has a lot of issues that they all need to address, and I think that's what's happening right now. A lot of these CCs are new. St. Tontas hasn't been content creating for a year. Mr. Poke's been making content creation for 2 years. Genozad, well, he's been doing it for like 7 years, but he's just been doing it to like 5 viewers in Epic 7. But that's okay, though. Okay, like 800. But I just want to remember this, and I think this is the issue that a lot of people are having. And I'm going to say these issues, and you guys might know a lot of content creators this lines up with. I think there's a lot of content creators trying to be like old me. I do. I think there's a lot of
He's saying that to Mr. Pokey.
CCs who are trying to be like old Tectone. I really do. There's a reason why old Tectone was old Tectone. And there's a reason why I had to grow from that and change as a person. Because it's not a healthy lifestyle. It's not a healthy mindset. It wasn't a good way to live. It wasn't. And I think the other issue is parasocialism runs rampant. Not only in people's chat, but also as streamers. I think streamers watch streamers a lot. And these streamers who are content creators assume that they're friends because they watch someone stream and they think that they know them. But you got to understand, you got to build rapport with someone before you talk some type of way about them. Because just because you think you're cool, they barely even know you. False equivalency is another issue running rampant in this community. And I plan on addressing every single false equivalent scenario that people are trying to make happen. However, that's just my opinion. At the end of the day, all this shit should be for entertainment and entertainment only. And I know drama sucks for a lot of people, but just try to enjoy it. These CC's got to get it off their chest, and hey, I'm here to react too. I will neutrally react to all.
Yeah. Here's step 4, guys. Neutrally react to all of it. He just said that all of the gotcha content's all in a lull right now. And this is just like a weather pattern. It happens every 2 to 3 months. And who's behind the scenes? Tectone. We're about to get to step 5 here in a second.
All this, and hopefully we get some good closure at the end of all this. However, I'm nervous because for the first time, I'm trying really hard to not get involved. Right? I am. I'm merely here to just observe and weigh in. So I don't know how this is going to go. I know a lot of the other times we had a good happy ending and put a nice little ribbon on it, and then 8 months later you find out that they were fake friends the entire time and they were a fucking snake, but the internet forgot about all that, and that sucks. But don't get me wrong. I got a massive chip on my shoulder, and I understand how much I've been fucked over in this content creation scene. However, I think we're getting to the point where that's going to start slowing down. I think this will be the magnum opus of the smaller CCs. Well, they're pretty huge CCs, to be honest. I mean, these guys are titans of the industry, but this drama, at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting. Regardless, you watch this video for 13 minutes, and you forgot that I was bald. Get fucked, losers.
It's not funny.
And I'm going to say this. If St. Tontas was a partner, he would not have got banned. Wait, really? Yes, really. Now, the big issue is, we don't know how justified that would have been if they were a partner. When they are a partner, they will do their due diligence and give people a lot more slack. And for non-partners, they're a lot more severe. And that's why I think St. Tontas' ban is in a morally gray area. The only facts that we can really rely on is that it was caused by mass reports. And the other thing is, for a non-partner, Twitch felt justified in that ban. So, we don't really know what comment it was for. We don't really know who did the mass reporting. However,
We do. We pretty much do know who it was. It was either, I mean, we don't legally, swear on a Bible. We don't know, but we do know. We can speculate. And it was either Tectone or Tectone adjacent.
those are two things that do exist.
Remember what he said. He does not know why Santontos went after Genocide. Remember that. Remember that. That's very important.
How the fuck ain't he
Go after Mr. Pokey all you want.
partnered in the first place? He could have been for a long time, and I talked to Santonis about this last night. He was just too lazy and didn't think it mattered. Right? I think it's a
I think it's probably some kind of legal tax purpose thing for his country, or personally why he didn't want to get partnered potentially. A lot of people don't want to, disclose all that information for whatever reason. Maybe it's because of Kuro Games. Maybe it's the affiliation with Kuro Games and he doesn't want that on public record. Who knows?
very bad idea to attempt to witch hunt either person's chat, whether that's Gateo's, Maggie's, Mr. Pokey's, or Genizad's, because we don't know whose community it was. However, I do know this, and I would like to say this. As far as Maggie, Genizad, or Mr. Pokey go, none of them incited the mass report from any of their chats. And those were a group of people that acted on their own. And I think holding...
Interesting. Again, someone that has a lot of information. And again, I do believe it was bought in some kind of software that's used. And Pink hinted at that on the previous tweet yesterday about the potential to bot. And I'm not even sure if that's, have the ability to do that for mass reporting. But I'm sure, with all the, different third-party softwares that are used in video games, that it can facilitate that as well.
Content creators accountable for that, I think it's a massive mistake. I do.
So essentially orchestrated by Tectone to cause this drama, to again, to get views and engagement, because he is never as popular as he is, when it comes to these kind of events that happen in the gacha community.
Oh, that's the only thing that I can say. Right? This was not coordinated by any content creator, and I think it's very unfair to hold.
Maybe that is true. Not coordinated by any content creator because it was done by a bot that you used. Maybe LaRue did it. Maybe LaRue, that's what LaRue's doing in your house. Maybe LaRue's now Pink, and he does your bot for you, so he facilitated that.
Hold CCs accountable for what rogue operatives in their chat do.
Rogue operatives in their chat do. Interesting way to put it.
Yeah. So, my opinion.
Sounds like you did it because he was going after Genocide. You want Genocide to not have a smear campaign against him because you are trying to get Genocide to stay with you in your house and hopefully use that to your advantage in the future, because you actually think Genocide is an important part of your continued success. And because Genocide has literally been doing content creation, specifically Epic 7, for a very long time, and is consistent and is able to produce the numbers that you expect that you have not been able to actually achieve with the current people that you've picked, like Lal Shenra, like LaRue, like Zizix, or all these other people. This is your best chance. And so you banned Santontos because he went out of line.
Because the reality is, it was me. Nah,
There it is. There it is. Tectone does what Trump does. He projects a lot. And if you listen to him, you can figure out his techniques. And the way they do it is confidently, it's brashly, but it's definitely something that you can pick up on. He did do it, most likely, speculatively.
true. That's not true.
It probably is true, though, Tectone. Let's be very clear.
All right, next comment was, sorry if the thread is messy and grammatically incorrect. I don't really know the grammar sentence structure well. And not only that, you can't even take an ounce of accountability for the damage you've done to Jenna by implying he's a pedophile. Excuse me, St. Tontas. What's the joke again? Jenna like a childlike character? You definitely not implying anything bad on him. What is this? What is this? Implying he's a pedophile. What's this?
And her content, and I simply do is I go ahead and I simply make this joke. He's a fan of Maggie. He's openly admitted it on stream that he's a fan of Maggie and her content, and I simply make a joke and I say, oh, he's a fan of Maggie and he plays all this defense. Well, I guess I see why he has 6 Rosia. That's the joke. He's a self-admitted fan of Maggie. He likes her content, and so I made the joke. I see why he has 6 Rosia. You want to know why? Because she's a childlike VTuber, and Rosia is a childlike character, and he has no other S6 characters. And so clearly he put a lot more resources and expenditures into her, and so I just made a joke about it, because one's a kid, childlike character, and the other's a childlike character. And people are saying that I'm the worst person ever for doing that. And you want to know what I have to say about that? All I did was compare Maggie, a childlike character, to Rosia, another childlike character. And if you're going ahead and you're the
St. Tontas' intellect is a blessing and a curse. And the reason why that is because I know how smart St. Tontas is. And he's so calculated with everything that he says. Because I do actually admire how intelligent he actually is.
Listen up. Listen up. He admires him. But he does not want Santontos to get out of line.
I can't give him the benefit of the doubt for him not knowing what he was implying. I think he knows what he was trying to do. And to be completely honest, I don't buy it. I think he should just apologize for implying that about genocide. And
Mr. Pokey? Fine. Anybody else? Ramtashed? Fine. Atsu? Fine. Hoyoverse? Fine. Genozod? No. And you'll see why in a second.
yeah, it was pretty dumb to do. Just, that's pretty much it. A lot of people I heard were comparing St. Tontas, implying that Genozide's a pedophile or a lolly lover, to
The
me.
real PvP in gotcha games is real life.
To me, right, hold up. To me, calling and Shinya implying that Regslin likes little kids. Now, here's the difference. Regslin is someone who actively dog whistles, unironically, and gets excited over little girl characters and says, ooh, bratty, they're so bratty, they need to be corrected. He's openly inviting that behavior, whereas Genozad has not, in any way, shape, or form. I think it was a really...
The ultimate defender of genocide. This, if not any of the other evidence, clearly points to Tectone being the absolute kingpin of Santonto's ban.
Stupid comment. And I think Regsnet knows what he's doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think that was cool to do, to be completely honest. I actually think St. Tontas keeps it pretty fair, majorly, when he was critiquing Pokey. And that's the big issue.
See? Stay in line, Santontos. Stay in line, or Daddy Techie will ban you. Judge Jerry Executioner. Daddy Techie.
Issue is that for this scenario, I think he was pretty fair towards his critiques towards Mr. Pokey.
Mr. Pokey, but
I don't think he's being very fair at all to his issues with Genocide.
ooh. Stepped out of line, Santontos. Stepped out of line. That is no. Yes to Pokey, no to genocide, Santontos. That is say, or daddy put time out.
And I really think Genizad and his issues were so small.
So small. Some would say childlike.
It could have been handled over like a 5-minute call. That's why I don't really enjoy hearing about all this. And I think that's the problem.
And that's why I banned him. Just say it, Tectone. Just say it. Just say it. Just say it.
How about Zajeff Ball, though? Zajeff called me a rapist.
Okay.
And he also was backseating my life for half a year before I even said his name once. That guy can suck my dick. Yeah. So that guy can suck my dick, and I will fuck him in his ass. Those two deserved it.
That would be rape, by the way, if he wasn't consensual.
Demonstrably, I don't think Genizad deserved it here.
Genocide does not deserve it. That is the through line of this whole entire conversation. Genocide, 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 genocide.
Hope that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to end when he actually discloses that genocide is going to move in with him, just so you know. I don't know when that is, but it's relatively soon.
Okay. Zajet was legit personally awful. Calling someone content slop isn't that? Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's the small issue that apparently Tectone was referring to.
Yeah. Should we keep going here? How Jenna deserved it? I just said that he didn't.
That he didn't.
Yeah, I just said that he didn't. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Watch Saint's video on his response. He goes over all of it. Saint Tontas goes over genocide. He did apologize, the full context. He did, Baldy. Oh, he apologized? Great. Amazing. Easy. I'm glad he took accountability. And that makes me feel right that I'm correct in my judgment.
Correct in your judgment to ban him?
That it was a misplay. Yeah. So, great. Oh, he didn't? Not really. Okay, but yeah. How about somebody links me the apology if he did, and I won't go off a chat? About that comment? Amazing. We have it?
You definitely know. And yes, it was said with malicious intent.
I love how jokes can now be categorized to protect their intent. Because in this new era of comedy, people still want to say things that are inappropriate. And so now they have this new category for jokes, malicious.
Because it's a joke.
But it's still a joke, so therefore it don't matter. Even though its implications and its perceptions can lead to people thinking something that is actually real and solidified. And that's not inherently what a joke is supposed to do.
Joke. You can be upset over some dumb shit, but don't do this again. You're not my daddy. Fuck off, dude. And you owe Jenna an apology for this. I don't. So let's go ahead and play this 11-second clip. It took him longer to type this out than it's going to take to play this clip. And let me dive into exactly what I'm talking about over here. And what the joke is.
That ain't a joke. We got to understand there are friendly jokes and there are malicious jokes.
No, there are jokes, and there are not categories of jokes. You big dummies who just want another fucking scapegoat for you to say whatever the fuck you want, and when somebody actually pushes back, you'll say, oh, it's a joke. Oh, it was a malicious joke. Go right, left, up, down your butthole.
either way, no matter how you want to feel about it, it is a joke. But some are made with malicious intent, some are made with positive intent.
And what the context is. No wonder he S6 Rosia.
It's not funny. It's not funny. Oh, fuck. It's just so ridiculous. It's just so fucking ridiculous, guys. It's so fucking ridiculous. It's low-key funny. It's low-key funny. It's low-key funny. But, like, I mean, come on. You guys gotta understand, like, this is the type of shit that I be saying all the fucking time. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Right? But the problem is I say that to people who fucking deserve it. And Genocide didn't deserve that.
Tectone is Genocide's ultimate defender. And he picks what is appropriate and what isn't appropriate. I've said this from day one. And he makes my point for me.
No wonder he S6'd Rosia. I said 6 words. We're
Yep.
going ahead and we're writing this entire paragraph after I said 6 words.
Yeah.
Don't downplay it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Better yet. Come on. Doesn't matter how small the words are. It's the impact of the words that you say. Everybody knows that. We can't say, bro got upset over 5 words. We know the impact of those words. It wasn't cool to say.
Wow, that is
I think that was definitely a misplay.
very
That
revealing
was
from
a-
someone who
you guys-
says the R word, the P word, all these words. Nice. You know, how many loopholes do you have to go through in order to defend Genocide to the point where you look guilty of banning Santontos? In my opinion, it's very clear.
You guys got to understand, Santontas he's hard-headed.
Oh wow! So now we're actually acknowledging the hard-headedness, and that's why you needed to ban him, to try to like get the message across. Daddy tried to take the TV away. Daddy tried to take the games away. Daddy tried to take the computer away. Daddy tried to take the phone away. Daddy put the bars on the windows. Daddy took all the stuff out of the room. But Santontos would not listen. So Daddy locked him in his room and didn't feed him for 7 days. Just gave him enough water to survive. Because Santontos is hard-headed.
He's very hard-headed.
Very hard-headed. Not just hard-headed, very hard-headed.
I want to remind you guys, it took me 3.5 hours for me to get him to apologize for going in so hard on VARs for using bad B-roll.
Here we go. Another example. Wow. You make my case so easy, Tectone. You are the reason Santontos was banned.
Right. Right. So like, I mean, it happens. We all have our flaws, and I think that was a misplay for sure. I just found it insane. He said chat was insane and delirious for insinuating what he meant when it was so obvious. Yeah, for sure. What up, Cosmos? You beautiful bitch. Yeah. Definitely a misplay. Okay. What's next? Shitting on Genocide because he's crashing out on chats, calling him names. That's crazy, right? Even make a face like you've got secondhand embarrassment for that. I feel you've never crashed out like that, right? Because that would be embarrassing.
Stupid morons in chat. Fuck, you stupid morons in chat. Oh, baby. Bro, because I'm trying to talk to another human, you dumb fucking idiot. Okay? You stupid morons in chat that are faceless. You can't even speak, okay? You don't have a voice, so shut the fuck up, dumbass. Okay?
So
That clip's not even bad. Why are we pretending that clip is bad?
Again, ultimate defender for Genocide.
Like, legit. Like, that clip is not even bad. Like, straight up, I do that like 8 times a stream. Like, it's low-key funny as fuck. Who cares? You know? Like, I don't know, man. I mean, do streamers not have crash outs? I mean, they do all the time. He apologized.
Here, Jenna's a bit of a rat too. And so I wanted a joke that would encompass the both of them.
Okay.
And sure, maybe it didn't land. Maybe it left the room, maybe it left too much space for interpretation. And if that occurred, I apologize, right? But if you're gonna go ahead and try to extrapolate it to the next level, I think you're saying more about yourself and how you think about the two of them than I ever could. So
Here is the reality. I mean, we'll never know his actual true intentions, to be completely honest. Maybe it was the world's biggest misplay. That's me giving the world's biggest benefit of the doubt. Like, with the world's most, like, it would break a world record how much benefit of the doubt I would give St. Tontas for that. But, like, I mean, to me, someone that smart, I feel like you don't misplay that hard. And that's the big issue that St. Tontas is going to have to fucking get into, is that he now has the same expectations put upon his shoulders that I have, where any misplay will be considered, well, I don't know about that. Tiki's pretty damn smart. So, yeah. Who knows? It was a shitty comment. I think he knows it's a shitty comment. And hopefully, if they ever do talk, you know, he'll own up to that. But we'll have to see. I think we all know. Nice friend, bro. Like, this shit is so gay. So how are you going to put nice quote-unquote friend when everybody in this scenario is my friend? Like, that's the big issue, is that every single time one of these issues occur, people want to weaponize who I do and don't talk with. And Mitch012, I want to let you know that your behavior is gay as fuck. Right? It is. Like, this is some bitch-ass behavior. And I hope you acknowledge that, right? I'm not going to ban you, but, yeah, am I your friend? I mean, I try to be friends with everybody. You know what I mean? Now, there is layers. Okay, yeah, great. There is layers to all this shit. And I will say a lot of people are higher up on my tier list, but I like having a lot of people to talk to, right? And I feel like I'm doing a pretty decent job of holding everybody accountable. And I think I'm being pretty fair. I think I'm playing it straight down the fucking middle, right?
He's God.
I mean, that's the only thing I can do, right? That's the only thing I can do. Yeah. Let's keep going here. But wait, St. Tontas, aren't you the guy who crashed on Sarah because he's in Smack's chat?
So true. So true, Smack.
Now, I want to be real. I don't want to get into this scenario where we bring back 8-month-old clips, 9-month-old clips for this scenario, due to the fact that I know St. Tontas has grown a lot since he started off as a content creator. Oh man, he's real. I think St. Tontas blew up way too quick, right? But Saint can? Oh no, he can't. I think it's also lame as fuck. Yeah, I think it's lame as fuck, 100%. Hold up, 1 second. Like characters. Sure. The last thing I will say is, if you demand Mr. Bogey take accountability, then you yourself should at least take accountability for your own actions. Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot of accountability from all sides. I believe even Genozad owned up that he was making too many passive-aggressive jokes. I think that is a thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that not a thing that happened during a stream last night? I believe that is a thing, right? Jenna talked about the situation on his stream bod. Can anybody link me that? Jenna went over everything on his stream if you want to watch. Sure.
Situation right now. All right. So, I would like to do a little bit of a preamble first to talk about something that is related but also isn't related, right? So, first of all, this is just something that I think is not very good that a lot of people are doing. I mean, this is actually at a lot of you guys and people I'm seeing on like Twitter or like other people.
I would like to say I have a lot of respect for Genozad for addressing this.
Extra coat of support Do you remember when Mr. Pokey and Tectone were tight? This the same kind of rhetoric. The patterns are so similar that it's making me sleepy.
I do. Because this is kind of Genizad's first real drama. Because he's never been involved.
Oh, he's such a baby. Oh, come here, little genocide. Oh, it's your daddy Tucker. Are you gonna be okay? Oh, it's your first little drama, baby. Oh.
In the wider gotcha space. And now that he's blowing up, it's bound to happen. It always happens. It really does. And this is kind of his first real drama ever. And once again, this won't be the last. It won't.
No, not if he's around your community. It will most likely be his end of his streaming career.
Everybody in the streamer space does have an ego. Eventually, these egos explode. Some people suffer due to that. And yeah, even
he survived in Epic 7 for a very long time without having too many issues in his community. And you could be like, well, that's because he never reached the threshold that made him so popular that it, would exist or competition would even matter. I don't believe that. Nope, not at all. There are far more successful people than you, Tectone, that are doing just fine at a high level that do not need to compete with each other. They have their audience and they maintain it.
and I've had my own share of ego explosions. I'm trying to recall when.
Nobody wants to hear that.
We acknowledge when this happens. We do. We do. We acknowledge this happens, and we try to grow from it, become a better person, for sure.
Words, no
chats
action.
and things like that.
To you guys who are spamming W Jenna in every single chat, you're gonna make everybody hate him. You are. You are. And I'm not gonna tell you to not type it, but just know that, like, you are fucking his PR so much. You are gonna make so many people fucking hate him. It is weird ass behavior. Like, straight up. Like, once again, when he does something cool, when he says something smart, go for it. You can do that with every streamer. But we're doing this shit where if you're gonna spam W Tectone,
That's what he really wants. That's what he really wants. He wants that.